Hey, Bryan with Hidden Falls Adventure Park here. Today we're going to be talking about the Sherco 300 long-term test. When I was shopping around for a new race bike and what bike I wanted to be on, this was definitely on my radar. But one of the questions that came up for me was, man, I don't know anybody that's been on one of these for a long time. I don't know anyone that's had a whole lot of experience with them. So we're going to talk through some of that today. I've got 2,500 miles on this bike in about 2 years, 154 hours on the motor. The book calls for a piston swap at, I believe, 80 some odd hours. I did mine at like 120, and honestly, it didn't even really need it. I did change my fluids pretty much by the book. Every 5 to, let's say, 7 hours, I was changing the oil. I did use high, good stuff. Motool is what I used, again, per manufacturer specs. And I have been also running race gas, either C12 or C9. I like the C9 better personally for this bike. But as far as issues go, I've had zero reliability issues. I prefer to spend more time riding than wrenching, and so for me, reliability is a really big deal. I just want to come out and be able to start the bike up and go. And that's one thing that I've been really satisfied with this bike. I've always been able to come out and just fire it up. It's always fired right up, even on cold days. I still have the original battery in here too, which I was kind of surprised. Batteries have a tendency to kind of go out. The fuel injection on this bike has been great too. I hadn't had any issues with the injectors or with the ECU or the engine mapping. It's all been great, it's all been spot on, and I haven't had any issues with any of that. I know some of my friends' bikes that with other manufacturers have had to get reflashed or something like that. I'm pretty hard on machines, and so for me, the fact that it stood up, it says a lot for me. It's never broken down on me out on the field. It's never given up on me during a race. The few things that have broke, it's been due to rider error or lack of skills. I ran out of skills. The only slight hiccup I had was with the electronics, and in power washing it, some water I think got in somewhere and the whole computer turned off, and that was probably right around maybe 100 hours. I didn't lose any of my information. I went back and put dielectric grease in all the connections, and it magically came back on and was good. And so I haven't had another issue with it. So if you're out there and your bike has given you a similar kind of issue, dude, just throw some dielectric grease in some of those connections and maybe you'll get lucky like me and it'll magically come back on. So this machine comes from the factory pretty well set up. It came already equipped with a full Akrapovic exhaust system. It came with a radiator fan already installed on it. I put the bark busters on, but it did already have the headlight and everything was already there. I added a couple of additional pieces of protection. I put this little case guard. I did go with the P3 carbon fiber skid plate. I did put a bulletproof design rear brake protector, and I did put on the also bulletproof design radiator guards. I did have the suspension tune by our friends over at 812 Suspension Design. I had to replace my rear sprocket. Again, I ran out of talent and bent mine, so I had to put a different one in. So I've got a little more low end, a little more torque, which I like for that rough stuff. It just gives it that extra pop. The wheelie's a little bit easier. All those things that I like. But these are all things that you're gonna do to your race bike anyway, no matter what manufacturer you're going with. What I really like is, for about the same price point with my Sherco, I got this full exhaust and I got this radiator fan. And those are two things that if I got another brand, that's one of the first things I do for my race bike is I add those things. So it's nice to already have that out of the box ready to go. This bike is fantastic in the tight woods. Tight woods, technical stuff, the rowdier the better. It's very happy standing up on one wheel. It feels very stable and not out of control, very comfortable. I think that in that tight technical stuff, that's where this bike really, really shines. So if you're looking for a solid woods racer, dude, 300 four-stroke, fantastic bike, great way to go. I will say that if you're doing like wide open stuff, I do run out of gears every once in a while. If bike gets around 50-ish, it starts saying, hey man, let's just take it easy. But other than that, I mean, if you're in the tight woods and you're getting up to 50 in the really, really tight stuff, man, more power to you. But in that tight stuff, man, the bike just shines. The ergonomics are definitely different from any other major manufacturers. And so it'll feel the way the bike sits, the way where the handlebars are, it'll have a little bit different feel. But for me personally, I really like it because, again, in that tight or technical or rowdy stuff, that riding position, in my opinion, really shines, and I think that's one of the things that makes this stand out from competitors. If I'm nitpicking the bike, it shifts fine, but if I'm gonna nitpick, I would say that might be one weak point. The shifting is a little clunky for me, and going from first to second, it's a big shift, and there's been a number of times where I just haven't gone hard enough, missed the gear, got stuck in neutral right before a climb, and I'm like, wah! Oh man, I missed my gear. More user error than anything in the bike, but just something to note. I know that I know other people that have this bike that have had similar, I'm not gonna say complaints, but nitpicks. So something to just be aware of. Big shift from first to second. Hey, thanks for watching. If you're looking for a new bike, highly recommend the Sherco SEF 300 4-stroke. Great for trail riding or enduro racing. If you're looking for a place to ride, man, come ride with us out at Hidden Falls Adventure Park. If you're looking for a place to pick one of these up, go see San Marcos Motorcycles and talk to Phil. Like, subscribe, come ride with us. Yeah. See you later. We'll redo that one. And brake.